the Multiverse of Madness.
Me too!
I don't like that.
Me too! Oh my God. I thought it was and the entire time until Friday.
That's a perfect encapsulation of the movie for me.
Okay. All right. I think we're on the same page.
This one little thing weirdly changes so much of the movie.
I think
especially
we're on the same
based
page.
on what I wanted versus okay.
I think we're on.
Hello, everybody. I'm Will.
And I'm Kristen.
And this is So I'm Watching This Show, your new favorite pop culture YouTube channel.
Look at you.
Where we talk about movies, TV, music, and more. As always, this is a spoiler show. So we're going to have a big old long spoiler conversation for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. But before we dive in, I want to give a huge shout out to all of our friends and fans and followers and patrons and all of the like. We could not do this without you.
We love you guys.
We love you. We have a Patreon and a Cash App and a Venmo. We are pretty soon going to have a conversation about overhauling the Patreon that you will probably be involved in because we're not entirely sure what to do or what you want or how to make that work.
Yeah.
So if you like us and want to throw some coins our way, that's how to do it.
Also, if you'd like, you can let us know in the comments below if there's something you would like from the Patreon specifically, because right now you guys are basically just tipping us, which we love, but we would love to give you something in return. Mm-hmm. So let us know if there's anything you'd be interested in. Also,
we wrote a book called Fairy Tale. It's about fairy tales, but it's not for kids. It's kind of like, it's like if Gossip Girl meets Game of Thrones. Quick answer. Did you like this movie?
Okay. I don't remember what the last thing... No, I know. I don't remember what the last thing we were talking about when we did this, but I have a very, like, yes and no but feelings about it. So I can tell you this is the most fun I've had in a Marvel movie since Shang-Chi. And that is also pretty much since, like, the end of Phase 3. This is top tier for me. The most fun I've had, this and Shang-Chi are the most fun I've had since the end of Phase 3.
If we had recorded this last night, I probably would have raved about it.
I'm glad we're doing it today because now I think we're way more on the same page.
Well, the more I thought about it, the more I was like...
Yeah.
For the most part, I enjoyed every part of the movie. I enjoyed every individual piece of the movie. I was like, oh, this is great. Oh, that's cool. It gave me weird shit. That's what I had been begging for ages. It gave me weird shit akin to Thor Ragnarok.
Sure.
I don't think it's comparable necessarily. Thor Ragnarok, I think, is kind of an opus. So in that regard, it's not comparable. But once I actually thought about it, I actually don't think I liked anything about it. Like
I can't agree with you that far. I liked a ton of things about it.
I liked it. Yes.
But my biggest issue is definitely the handling of Wanda, because at the end of WandaVision, I know that we had that little stinger at the end where she's like in that little cabin doing hex magic, whatever, that she could be doing anything. You know what I mean? Like that was open for her to be doing anything.
Well, no, because she can hear Tommy and Billy crying out for help.
She can, can't she?
And that would motivate.
Okay.
But would that it were addressed?
No.
But at no point in this movie is she trying to help them.
Help them, exactly. Like there's not a universe where they're in danger,
that
and even more specifically, she is focusing on a specific universe where they are so loved by the Wanda in that universe.
Which it was making me want, and this is the trouble with multiverses. Because you can pick it apart.
Yeah.
It makes me wonder why she was so hell-bent on that one universe. Because if that were the only other universe where they existed, then it would make sense.
Sure, of course.
But she says they're in
everywhere.
Every universe.
So basically, that's my biggest issue. And not even that. My issue starts before that, because what I liked so much about WandaVision was the journey we took Wanda on to a place where she could start healing at the end of it. Like, she did a bad thing, she had a catharsis, she realized what she'd done, she had a whole thing, and it looked like we were on the upswing of her, like, grief and everything. And instead, in this movie, we're like right back in it with little to no cohesive explanation that matches what we did at the end of WandaVision. So that is like, because I don't like that they've done that to Wanda. You know what I mean? I don't like that they've made her villainous in quite that way.
Mm-hmm. I think Disney and Marvel needs to decide, and a decision needs to be made, whether the Disney Plus shows
actually matter
or not.
Yeah.
Because this WandaVision has, with the minor exception that she had children, WandaVision has no bearing on this movie or who she is in this movie.
Which is upsetting. Like, they say, like, Stephen Strange says Westview, but it's just acknowledging that it happened, but we at no point acknowledge her mental journey. And we will, you know, whisper to each other in the theater a little, and she is bad at, like, minute 20.
Which,
we're right in it.
And anyone who watched our preview video, I wanted evil Wanda.
Yeah.
I did. And that's part of what I was enjoying, is because I was getting it. But it was after the fact that I realized it was superficial. Mm-hmm. Because the thing is, I wanted to witness. It's the same thing I wanted in Star Wars. That should have been a saga about Rey, in my opinion, going dark and then lifting back
out of it. Yeah.
And so I wanted to witness Wanda's descent into madness.
Sure.
I guess even more so than WandaVision.
So to me, WandaVision
was...
Well, no, it wasn't. In my opinion, her behavior in WandaVision isn't dark madness. She has had a mental break.
And I know
she doesn't even know she's doing it for half the run of that show.
Which is also present in this movie. And I know that she was reading the Darkhold. I understand how the Darkhold works, but the issue is we needed to, based on the caliber and quality of the MCU, we need to witness her going mad.
Yeah.
Because there's a midway point where, we'll get to it in a second, but a character goes into, like, her mind, and our Wanda is, like, trapped under rubble.
Yeah.
So that's where it's very clear that what we're watching is whatever the Darkhold. It's kind of a Dark Phoenix.
Actually, it's not our Wanda. It's that other universe Wanda is trapped underneath the Scarlet Witch, because that's after she's already taken over that other universe's Wanda.
Hate it. I hate that.
Our Wanda is making these decisions with, like, full malice of forethought.
The only way any of it works is Elizabeth.
100%.
Through sheer force of will. She was such a delight to watch. The way that she like tweaks her face, her lip, her cheek, her eyebrow. And this is part of where I'm so like, is because there was so much of it that was there that was so close. But it, like, there's another huge elephant in the room that I want to acknowledge. The two things going for me was Disney needs to decide whether or not the Disney Plus shows matter.
Yep. All of them are self-contained stories. Like, we don't, like, Loki doesn't need to know that the Falcon and Winter Soldier stuff happened, and, like, you know, Bucky doesn't need to know about the stuff that happened with Hawkeye, but it's like, it would be nice if they did know those things about it. Like, is there no more Avengers? Are we, like, done with Avengers?
No, I think we will get another one. But so this brings me to my second. The second thing is still, and boo and hiss, the pandemic.
Yeah.
Every movie we have seen since has had some form of pandemic riggery or shenanigans, because I did a tiny bit of research and I found out that apparently, or rumoredly, America was meant to be in Spider-Man, and Spider-Man was meant to come after this. And when she got cut from Spider-Man, they had to retool half of this stuff. Because they were shuffling things around while filming. I remember
them doing extensive late game reshoots of this movie, and I think they've done it for Thor as well. And this is in no way is this a dig on Sam Raimi, who can direct a fucking movie, but, like, I have a little more faith that Taika has a little more of a stranglehold on his Thor universe, that he'll make it work a little better than this.
So this was Sam's first rodeo with Disney and Marvel. And
with the MCU, because he did Spider-Man. He did the OG Spider-Man.
Right.
Yeah.
I knew that, and I just whoop. But again, they need to decide what they're doing, because I sort of feel like they asked Sam Raimi to come in and do something, and he did it, and they were freaked out. Because there's apparently a significantly longer cut of this movie.
Yeah.
And it's apparently
surprise me.
much.
It's probably grosser.
Much more. Yeah. Which this movie is a little, like, at no point was I genuinely scared.
No, but we get jump scares. We get
couple.
We get Wanda jump scares. We get disgusting shit.
We get violence that we have never seen in the MCU. I wouldn't go as far as to say it's gory, but it's flirting with it. It's up against it, and it is creative. And that is some of the places where I enjoyed it the most, is when it actually got creative. But another thing that I heard is that there were a ton of like gimmicks and cameos planned for this movie beyond what we got that they scrapped. Apparently they're saving them for Secret Wars or something.
Well, so this is going to be such a kind of messy conversation, because I'm still processing some stuff too. But apparently America Chavez is in, what are they called? The Young Avengers. Mm-hmm. So she's apparently a part of that, and she is meant to be in the TV show as well. Okay. Whenever they finally do that. So it's like her, and then like the young Loki from the TV show, and like a bunch of stuff. So
apparently there's something called, I think, Secret Wars is coming up, that a lot of stuff that they were going to do in this in Spider-Man, they're pushing into Secret Wars.
Interesting.
And again, because of pandemic, because of release dates changing and all of that. And I mean, I hate to admit it, but money, you know.
I also, we don't have to get into like who specifically right yet, unless you're ready to, but in the moment, I really loved all the cameos. And thinking about it now, I'm kind of like, that feels like just a gimmicky thing. It doesn't feel totally thought out.
You're hitting every point right before I get to it. No, it's not bad. It's good. It makes for a good conversation. But again, they needed to decide what they were doing. Mm-hmm. Is this a Doctor Strange movie? Yeah. Is this a Wanda movie? It can even be a Wanda and Doctor Strange movie.
That's an interesting combo. I like that combo together.
But when you get to Wanda and Doctor Strange and post Endgame and establishing new stuff and gimmicky fan service is where it starts to. And I love some of the gimmicky, some of the fan service. Yeah. But it cannot be the meat. It cannot be the meat and potatoes of the meal. It has to be a garnish. And there was a moment in this movie where Doctor Strange, I don't remember who, but somebody said something that the implication was that it is public knowledge that Strange gave Thanos the Time Stone.
Yeah.
And how that wasn't the crux of this movie.
Because he didn't give it to him. He let him take it. But he wasn't like, here, dude.
Well, kind of, because it was the only way.
Well, of course. But I don't know. But
for me, when that part happened, I was like, that's what this movie needed to be about.
Sure.
It needed to be about, and this doesn't sound interesting, but it would be like further dissecting the fallout from.
Because that motivates Wanda as well. Because if he hadn't given the Time Stone, then she could have saved, at least mercifully killed Vision. Okay. I have chills and now I'm furious.
But it wasn't about that. Like, it wasn't about Strange, and it wasn't. Because another thing that I like, something that shocked me, I was shocked Christine Palmer came back.
And, spoiler alert, she makes it all the way to the end of the movie. Two versions of her survive.
Well, I was going to say,
our Christine.
Prime Christine, less than 5 minutes of screen time.
But she survives.
The other Christine, but I was like, she was one of the parts that I enjoyed the most about it. And that was when I was like, oh yeah, this is a Doctor Strange movie.
Right.
We should care about them.
Exactly.
You started to say something?
Okay, so I don't remember the second instance. It's recent, but when Will and I finally watched the movie Tenet, there is a scene where I can't get into the timey-wimey shit, but there at one point they're like, yeah, and if all of this happens, everyone in the world will die. And then it pans over to Elizabeth Debicki, stunning, flawless, gorgeous, love her, but this is the dumbest line in all creation. Everyone in the world is going to die, and she just goes, including my son. And I had a very that energy watching Wanda in this movie just be like, my boys. And I'm like, they're not your boys. You made up your boys. The fact that they exist in other universes doesn't equate to you deserving them. But you created them in this universe.
But furthermore, if they were only in that one other universe,
of course,
then even that would make a little bit more sense. And so
you're right. She did just pick that one random universe for no really discernible reason.
And I mean, so we do get the like patented like journey through the multiverses a la Guardians of the Galaxy 2 or even Valerian.
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
It was pretty cool. But other than that, the Multiverse of Madness is like these two multiverses.
Well, I mean, they go to the one that's disintegrating, which is pretty cool. And they go to the one where they like watch the memories and stuff. And I mean, they're like in different ones for a while. But I don't disagree with you that it's like we have this really like journey where you can't actually get a total handle on any of it, and then it's like there's like 3 total, and you're like, I mean, I guess
for me it kept coming back to Wanda and WandaVision. Vision should have been in this movie. I'm sorry, how are you going to, and I understand that he died, but
sure, whatever,
for like the 4th time, which furthers my point.
Even believing that aside, there's also White Vision running around
White
somewhere
Vision out there.
And what about Vision in all the other universes? Like, I know Paul Bettany's got stuff to do. It's whatever. I'll allow it. But
you can't merge those two characters, quite literally, WandaVision, and then pretend that Wanda's a single mother.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
It was really very bizarre. And so I think Vision needed to be acknowledged, other than what twice she said Viz had
he had theories. So the only thing I'll say to that, the only reason why I even slightly accept it is because I much prefer her motivation, even though I still think it sucks, I prefer the motivation being her children as opposed to her lover. Like Diana and Steve in Wonder Woman 1984. Like, I didn't care for that at all because it made her weak. Like, she couldn't, it's been like 60 years by that point and she can't move on. And it's like, I would have liked more like mentions about Vision, but I did like that it was primarily focused on the boys. Like, I don't want her to be hung up on her ex, but it's like I don't know how her deceased husband.
I don't know how you have a premise called the Multiverse of Madness and he doesn't factor in.
I agree with that.
And furthermore, I don't know how you have the Darkhold and Agatha doesn't factor in. And it's
she had the black fingertips, and then the one Doctor Strange did too, and it's just like,
or even, I mean, that like cabin in the woods that she was at the end of WandaVision, and then in this one she's like in an apple orchard. And it was cool, and again, I wanted.
Well, it's also all an illusion. Yeah.
I can't stress this enough. I wanted evil Wanda.
Yeah.
But I guess I assumed...
Not this way!
Well, I guess I assumed we were going to watch it happen over this movie.
Yeah, but she literally already is when this movie opens, because Steven goes to see her.
That line was so funny from America.
Which?
So the person you went to help save me is the person trying to kill me?
Yeah. I especially loved, though, because I clocked it immediately, where he just is like telling her about this girl that he found that can like blah, 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 whatever. And she's like, oh, well, like if America needs to come here, and Steven, and I was like, he didn't say her name. And Steven stops and she goes, yeah, you didn't tell me her name, did you?
But even that I thought was a little clunky. Like I would have much rather her said, well, you can bring her here. And he was like, I didn't say it was a girl. Like there was... I don't know. It maybe that's like the studio interference. I'm dying to see some of the other cuts, or at least know what was in them. I don't know that I would prefer them, but it just I really, 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 really wish that this movie was about Doctor Strange and Wanda. And like I said, I wish I wish he had recruited her, and I wish they were working together. And over the course of events, she watches him do things. She watches him make hypocritical decisions and stuff.
Okay, because that is the stuff that actually irritated me the most, is that apparently in every universe, Doctor Strange is just the worst, and he's only out for himself, and he's such a selfish prick, and he's the one who went against Thanos, but they sacrificed him to die instead, or whatever. All this shit, and literally everybody piles on that, oh, you're just like all the rest. And I'm just like, This one's not. Like, and it totally goes to the same thing where like, I would have loved that too, where if we had actually gotten proof of him being just the same as all the others, it would have been great. But like our Steven.
But in a way that we're willing to forgive and her be like, wait a minute. Why can you do this, but I couldn't, you know?
Well, the other thing though, is that she's not forgiven for Westview, but like no one's hunting her with pitchforks. She's just like secluded herself. Mm-hmm. And if that were legitimate, you know, even Stephen Strange makes the comment where he's like, we'll get you back on the lunchbox if you help me with this. And it's like, I feel like people are willing to forgive her, but I don't know.
Well, and it's just, even
like does the general public know about this? Because there's still nothing really to forgive because people don't know about this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like desperate for stakes, to know what the stakes are, I guess. And that is why for me, like Phase 4 feels like it's floundering and it feels very adrift in a way.
And that's where I'm like, but how can maybe it is the pandemic. I mean, maybe it is the timing of everything getting thrown into and I mean, that sounds like a scapegoat, but that's a pretty big goat.
Sure. And like, but also in which case I get that Disney and Marvel like need or want to make money, but like, if that's actually the case, I would have preferred waiting to have everything in its proper order.
That's the kind of thing we have no way of knowing how that would.
Of course, I know.
In that universe, we're saying they should have powered through.
They should have just done it. I can't believe we've been waiting for 3 years.
I wish she had snapped or fractured or something.
Sure.
I don't like that. The Darkhold aside, but because even that's mostly just implied.
Yeah.
That it's like, well, she's been reading the Darkhold. That's why she's evil.
Well, she has the actual book.
Yeah, I know. But I'm like, we don't see, it's not depicted.
Sure.
So it's like someone has to give you that excuse. It's like, well, she did that because of the Darkhold. This was also super MacGuffin in a way that it's like, I can forgive a little.
We had the Darkhold and we had the Book of Vishanti or something like that.
Which can just give you whatever you need.
It will give the Sorcerer Supreme whatever they need to defeat the darkness or the evil or whatever. Yeah. That's
some Once Upon a Time bullshit.
That's a hell of a MacGuffin. Well, both things are destroyed in every dimension, so.
But it's like, I wish that she had actually fractured or snapped or been crushed under the weight of what was happening versus I'm mad and I want my kids and it's everybody's problem.
Yeah. I think
what man did this?
What man did this?
His name is Michael Waldron.
No, it kind of seeps of that.
No, I definitely 100% agree with that.
Again, I loved watching it because Elizabeth, and I mean, because let the Russos do. I mean, I think I liked Sam Raimi a lot.
Well, then I think I don't think his direction was an issue because, like I said, like we both said, Elizabeth Olsen's performance is fucking top notch in this movie.
And she looked great. Like I loved watching all of the stunts, and I loved watching her go dark.
Yeah. I hesitate to even imply slightly that we might need to return to something even generally akin to the studio system, but like I think Marvel and Disney should have like a stable of writers that they.
Well, I started to say maybe the Russos should be like just permanent producers
on everything.
Where it's like obviously there's Kevin Feige there, but he's getting spread thin.
Yeah.
So then maybe
he can only do so much. We've had like 12 properties in the last.
Well, and also people tap out.
Months.
Like not like at the ring. Like they get sucked.
Yeah.
The wells tapped. Because we still don't even know what fucking color Wanda's hair is, as evidenced by this movie. Because it's brown in one universe and ginger in another.
And she's sort of blondish as the Scarlet Witch.
There's stuff that I like about that. But I do want to talk about a few other things. In a general sense, I liked the cameos. My favorite has got to be Captain Carter.
Okay.
I thought that was so awesome. I thought she looked so good. I didn't even watch What If, and I was like...
So Will and I just recently did, and she's like huge though. Like she gets tall and like really thick.
Uh-huh.
And obviously Haley Atwell's not going to do that for a 10-minute.
But I thought she looked good.
But she looked amazing. Her hair looked great. Her makeup looked great.
Also, for the way you just said it, for a 10-minute whatever.
Yeah.
Like the things that happened in that scene were cool.
Yeah.
But that should have been a set piece.
I also would have maybe enjoyed saving it for a movie where like they had to go to the multiverse to get other heroes to like help them with the next big threat.
That's interesting. I didn't.
And it's not. It literally is just so that like we can say the word Illuminati, get Chiwetel Ejiofor back, and then do fanboy service for the rest of the. And I'm not. That's not saying I didn't like it. I fucking loved seeing every single one of those motherfuckers on there. And I love, too, that they just were like, remember that show Inhumans that happened? Here's that guy. And I really, the audacity. I'm obsessed. It's hilarious.
But that's exactly what it is, where I'm like, at any given moment, I was like, I am fucking loving this.
Loving
and
it.
I think we need more audacity in the MCU. Like, I think we need more.
In addition to that, I was reading a couple of things on the interwebs today. Apparently, that is a universe where Reed Richards made Ultron. So it works. So, like, which means he's smarter than Tony Stark, which I also love.
Oh, I think it was because Tony and Bruce were, like, trying to...
both do
maybe,
different things.
I don't know. I had been waiting. There was a rumor that was going around for a while, and I had heard that it was not going to happen. But I super, super, super wanted. There was a rumor that Tom Cruise and Emily Blunt were going to be in either Spider-Man or this one as Iron Man and Black Widow.
Because they were originally cast.
Considered in...
Okay, but Tom Cruise was kind of in this movie. Because zombie Doctor Strange looked just like Lestat when he comes out of the bayou. It was incredible. I was literally, it was disgusting, but the whole time I was just obsessed because I just like wanted him to start playing the piano.
I loved that music fight.
So good.
That was so weird and so cool. Like they're literally like throwing music notes at each other. It's like so phantasmic. Cool. It's like a Disney night show.
Oh yeah.
Like, and there's parts where like, because I even heard a couple people, like I saw a tweet where someone was like, it's funny in where you're laughing at the movie.
Yeah.
And I was like, I mean,
not 100%.
A little bit, but I was like, but I was loving. Like, I was loving it. Yeah. Like, there was a handful of times where I was like, what?
What the fuck am I watching? So the music fight, where it reminded me a little bit of Fantasia, but it reminded me, I think I mentioned it a couple of times before on this show. I had this videotape when I was little called Donald in Math Magic Land, and it was Donald Duck teaching you math, essentially. And he does little things like that where like music notes and like math equations and stuff float around and do stuff, and that's what it reminded me of. Any chance to interject Donald in Math Magic Land into the...
I really liked America Chavez. I guess that's a hot take.
So
she is dumped into the movie.
She is also apparently better in the comics. She's super fast, super strong, all this stuff. In addition to the time port.
One of our regulars said she could fly.
Yeah, so I have her pulled up. Yeah, superhuman strength, speed, longevity, and durability, flight, invulnerabilities, and then star portal creation is like 5 down.
Well, stuff like that. It's like you can't.
Maybe she'll get there.
Yeah, but also it's like that's really overpowered in a way. That's because like even Wanda.
Yeah.
Can, by the comic standards, can do more, and it's like you can't. Comic books are a different medium than film. Like it's just.
But I liked her a lot. Actually,
I thought you said it was
Xochitl Gomez.
I thought she was great. I thought she was very charming,
super cute. I liked her chemistry with Benedict.
Yeah,
and,
I thought she fit in well.
America and Steven's chemistry, and
even because it's like even this needed to be 3 different movies because I would love to watch a buddy, like a journey movie with the two of them going to the different worlds. Cause it's like that, like
she's straight up studying at, at what is it called? The Doctor Strange temple.
With the Warriors of Virtue.
Kind of. I'm sorry. They said a lot of fucking words in this movie. So.
I want America to meet Ned.
Well, that's why my husband leaned over to me partway, like during that scene where she's training, and he was like, "Oh my God, is Ned there?" And I was like, "Ned should be there because he has Doctor Strange's sling ring, or one of them."
And that whole universe that was just like eco porn. Ugh.
Yeah.
It was like Westworld season 3 with all the one of those skyscrapers just had a waterfall.
Yeah. Titties. Let's do it. Come on.
And free pizza balls. I guess they weren't actually free though.
Also, that was our Bruce Campbell cameo. Sam Raimi, basically, he literally said, every time I get a project, I call up Bruce. And Bruce is like, what do you want now? And he's like, here it is.
It felt like a Sam Raimi touch because it happened twice. The second time very blatantly with Bruce Campbell. But there's a point in this movie where Wanda breaks the fourth wall.
Oh
she
my God,
looked directly
right
into the camera. And I thought it worked. But it's stuff like that I wish maybe we could have leaned into more. Almost like Fleabag, where you're like, ah!
Stop looking at me.
I don't know.
So that's the other thing too. I mentioned it in our like what we're expecting from the movie thing, because I saw a lot of people who were like, don't get it twisted. This isn't like Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. It's like Evil Dead. And I'm going to come out a different direction and say, this is like Drag Me to Hell.
I want to watch that.
It's because Drag Me to Hell is funny. And this was funny and also scary and also disgusting. So it's like, I think too many people slept on Drag Me to Hell and they don't realize that it's there for a comparison. This is my PSA telling you to go watch Drag Me to Hell because it's excellent.
Maybe we'll do it.
It has the great and gone Alison Lohman. I don't know what she's doing, but I want her back. I love her so much.
Got Beowulf money.
I mean,
does she?
That can't have stretched very far. I don't buy it.
Do you remember that?
Yeah. I don't buy that she's still living on that.
Oh, there was also, we're doing Avatar.
Yeah.
It looked good. I figured it would.
So I guess, I don't know. I kind of wanted to, I'm mostly through what I like wanted to say. I will say that I think this was also an extraordinary waste of Chiwetel Ejiofor. I don't care for his character
in the first,
at all. Cause I don't like the way he turned at the end of the first one and he took Benjamin Bratt's legs. And then in addition to that, we don't even get that Mordo back. It's a different universe Mordo who still hates Stephen Strange, but for different reasons. And so, and he's the Sorcerer Supreme. And I don't like that at all. And I think,
I mean, I hate to say it, but they should have taken the entire Illuminati thing out and
put
use
it
that
in
time.
Something else.
Put it somewhere else, but use that time to make the plot work.
Yeah.
Because, and that's, I'm going to go ahead and very lightly compare this to The Last Jedi. Okay. I think The Last Jedi.
Kamartaj. Thank you. Sorry. I saw it in a credit.
I think The Last Jedi is just a near perfect movie. I just actually love The Last Jedi. I think it's great. But the place where I'm comparing it to is I liked so much of this movie, but I don't see how this is that place. This is the sequel to Doctor Strange.
Sure.
Or this is the follow-up to one. Like it because that's one of the things that like your husband Will said about Last Jedi, where he's like, I think it's a great movie. How is it the middle chapter of that trilogy?
Yeah. And
so that's where I'm at, is I'm like, if this was just like bonus features, then that's fantastic. Sure. But it was not a good, the story, the work was not there.
Yeah, I agree with that.
The character work, the plot, it felt cobbled together.
Yeah. And
they did a great job cobbling it together, but at the end of the day, it was cobbled together.
I agree.
And, you know, I'm still excited for stuff to come. I'm excited for Thor. I probably ought to go ahead and
tamp that right down.
Am at a fever pitch.
So,
I'm at like 11.
It is Taika. So I feel confident about that, but yes.
Apparently, because I didn't know. Apparently, Natalie Portman weight trained for 4 months.
You can tell.
Well, I thought maybe it was makeup. I didn't know. No, she looks great. And she actually loved it. She was like, I've never thought I was going to feel strong. Like that was going to be.
She doesn't really have the frame. She's a very slight woman.
But yeah, so
I guess I want to pour one out for Sheila Adam, who played Sarah, the one who like sacrificed herself to stab the Darkhold.
You liked her.
She was so great. I liked her vibe a lot.
And that's the kind of thing where it's like she had a look and she had a person like a
personality with like 3 lines.
That we were sort of immediately endeared.
She was like Wong's right hand.
Yeah, it was cool. And even once fucking again, they established and they set such a precedent with Wanda and Ultron.
Yeah,
that they'd never go back to. And she does it once in this movie.
That where guy's name is the Weasel.
Oh, that's rude.
Because he weaseled out.
Yeah, that's
when
rude. She fucked.
Yeah.
She
brain. Just like, that's one of the jump scares.
She finger fucked his brain.
She comes like, she basically is just like whoosh, and then she says run.
But she does this like thing, this like skittery thing that I think they've literally used it 3 times. Yeah. And I'm like,
come on.
It was cool when she came out of the mirror.
Yeah.
All like, I don't know. Oh God, I thought the blowing out the back of what's his name's head, that was pretty great. I did not see that coming. And it's stuff like that where I'm like, they need to establish powers and then like set rules and then come up with creative way, because otherwise it's just like blasts of light and I don't care. Like,
so I loved how she dispatched all the Illuminati.
The Captain Carter, that was chilling.
All of it. I it's the silliest one, but I love how she got Reed Richards.
I don't even know what she did.
She unraveled him.
Yeah, he's well, he's
like so stretchy. She just sort of like unraveled his stretchy molecules.
Okay.
I also saw somebody who was like, oh my God, the MCU heard us about John Krasinski coming in to play Reed Richards. And I was like, bitch, he's been in talks for like a decade to be Reed Richards. You think they're listening to Twitter?
I'm sort of like, I don't know if this, like, I think this might have just been a throwaway, like a one-off.
Okay. If true, I'm the maddest I've ever been about the MCU, because there's no excuse why these people can't come back from a different dimension. The multiverse is open. We have someone now who can willingly, easily, legitimately travel through the multiverses. If none of these bitches come back, if we don't get,
but that's also such a dangerous.
Haley Atwell, Lashana Lynch, all of them. No, I mean it's dangerous, but
because then you lose any and all stakes.
I think there has to be some kind of rule set up. But if we don't see a single one of these bitches again, I'm gonna be the maddest I've ever been. Mm-hmm. There's no excuse, like no excuse.
Well, because I still thought that's how, because again, pandemic and also just like, because I mean, Black Panther's going to be a mess.
Yeah.
Because Chadwick died like, what, 3 weeks before filming or something? Yeah. And so it's like, I was like, I had my fingers crossed for Michael B. Jordan because I like set my heart on Michael B. Jordan taking on the mantle of Black Panther. And I thought they could pull Killmonger out of a different universe to come in and do it.
Sure.
And so there were, which I know that's not how you can play the game. You can't set your mind on something that you've created.
Yeah.
And then be disappointed when it doesn't happen. But I genuinely feel a little perplexed about it. Well, to be honest, it's kind of common. There's a lot of time, like Frozen 2, we were like, yeah, I liked everything about it. It was a bad movie.
But yeah, I had so much fun. It was terrible.
It didn't make any sense. We're like a bridge. Right. Okay.
Sure, I guess.
So
we also came out of the movie and be like, it's not how fjords work. It's like not how the natural phenomenon of a fjord works.
But I liked when the reindeer sang the song.
Loved it.
So yeah, like again, I mean, I liked the things that happened in this movie. I just sort of am like, so, but can we get a do-over where the plots make sense?
Where the plot's
or like
correct.
The plot's good.
Yeah.
And to hit it again, I actually was surprised how much I liked. I was gonna say I was surprised how much I like Christine, and I was like, that's a testament to Rachel.
We love Rachel McAdams. She's great.
And
she helps. I liked that other universe's Christine. Well, okay, so that's the thing is
her wedding dress was so pretty.
It was amazing
with the sleeves.
It has to have stakes because if you keep a person in their wrong universe too long, it explodes essentially. It's an incursion.
Did they say that?
That's why the one with the third eye, Doctor Strange.
I don't even know what the third eye thing is. And then we did get so Charlize Theron is Clea. Again, I have faith it'll be good. I am excited, but there's a part of me that's like, oh, huh?
Yeah.
Like, who?
Yeah.
Apparently the big, I can't think of his name, Mordor, the big demon in the first movie.
Dormammu.
Is her uncle. Apparently I did a little bit of research. She's like a princess from like the Black Dimension or something. And her aunt and uncle are in this like constant power battle.
Okay.
And he's like been manipulated into this like,
oh, okay. So
she witnessed, so apparently Clea witnessed Strange's showdown with.
Okay. All right. I mean,
they can earn it, but someone needs to be in charge of the story.
Yeah.
And Marvel needs to remember that why it worked in the first place is that it was a good story that we cared about.
Well, okay, yes. I think it's because we've done it in a more condensed timeline, but I'm reaching Pixar fatigue where I'm like, there's been a handful in Phase 4 that I'm like, I liked the spectacle of going to like sit and watch this thing, but it's not as good as the stuff that came before it. And I'm perfectly willing to change my tune and eat my hat later if it does all end up magically tying in together. I would love that. It would be amazing. I'm not holding out hope, but I would love it. But I am getting to a point where it's like Phase 1, 2, and 3 were so specifically plotted to work together. And I don't see that yet in Phase 4.
Which, I mean, I guess at this point in Phase 1, we wouldn't have seen that yet either. I don't know. We're going on. Is there any other things that you can think of or that you wanted to hit?
Michael Stuhlbarg has a really good agent. He was like 4th build on this fucking movie.
That
Get your coin, dude.
So, okay.
I like had told, it was not until they were like still talking that I was like, oh, he's the doctor from the first one. He's like the incompetent doctor that Strange has to go fix the surgery from the first one. Yeah, I had totally forgotten that he's even in the first one.
Yeah, why was he even in this?
I don't know.
I was literally about to be like, he has to be something coming up. Like, coming down the pipe.
Well, he got a weirder haircut. His hair wasn't like that in the first one. It was just Michael Stuhlbarg's hair in the first one.
That's got to be it.
Yeah.
That was one final note I'll leave it on is there is a thing, this factored into my viewing of Moon Knight and frankly a lot of these movies, Spider-Man No Way Home, because CJ the X did a very brilliant video essay on Spider-Man No Way Home.
Yeah.
The title is loaded. It's like why Spider-Man is sexist. That's not...
It doesn't actually really play in.
Don't let the title scare you. He actually literally said he did it to specifically provoke people.
Yeah.
He was really mad about the end of No Way Home in a way that I was like, oh, well, we're going to keep going. And then I was like, well, maybe not.
Yeah.
And so I realized that is something for me with the MCU because I'm aware that we're in the middle of this like extended universe. Part of me is like, okay, well, I didn't like this, but it's not like it's the end. The next thing will pick up and it's ebb and flow. And that's true to a point, but we need to be satisfied. Like, because like, again, I don't know if there's going to be another Spider-Man 4.
Yeah, is there going to be another Spider-Man movie? I mean, even is there going to be another...
It's going to be Tom Holland and Zendaya. You know what I mean?
We can't get into that. We cannot get into that. We can do a whole separate video on that and how I'm furious in a different way about that, but we don't have time right now. I am owed a sandwich, so...
Tonight I'm making sandwiches. Okay. I think that's it for now. I'm sure we'll have more thoughts and opinions coming. If you want to hear them, like and subscribe and watch every single one of our videos, every minute of every one of them. You don't know if you're going to miss anything.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
You can follow us on Twitter at So I'm Watching or Instagram at So I'm Watching This Show. Also, our website is back up, soimwatching.com, which basically links to the podcast episodes, which we've been doing a podcast for 4 years. So if you're like, oh man, I would love to hear them talk about blank, go to the website and look. We've probably talked about it. Yeah. We've covered basically every MCU movie. Yeah. We also always are open to suggestions, but we can't promise that we'll actually cover it, or if we cover it, that we'll enjoy it. So keep that in mind. We are taking suggestions, but they are not promises. Yeah, not promises. So, okay. Let us know what you thought, and bye. Bye. We didn't really talk about Patrick Stewart. I thought that was cool. We didn't talk about all of the Illuminati, but it's... I want the X-Men. I don't know what you want from me, dude.